Many people reach their mid-40s and feel like their body changed without warning. They wake up more tired. Their mornings feel heavier. Their fasting glucose starts creeping up. And the most confusing part is this: they didn't change anything. Same food, same habits, same efforts. So when morning blood sugar gets worse after 45, the first thought is, am I doing something wrong? For most people, this change has almost nothing to do with behavior, and almost everything to do with how the body's internal systems evolve with age. Before we go deeper, if you wake up tired, struggle with fasting glucose, or often see high blood sugar before breakfast, subscribe to the channel. Fifth, everything here is focused on morning blood sugar, fasting glucose, why people wake up tired, and why high blood sugar before breakfast becomes more common, especially after 45. Here's the truth that removes a lot of fear and frustration. Morning blood sugar does not get worse after 45 because of bad choices. Gets worse because the body's internal systems change. Those changes are subtle. They happen gradually, and most people are never warned about them. The morning is where these changes show up first, before food, before movement, before decisions. That's why people often say, I feel fine during the day. But mornings are hard. The morning exposes the system when it's most vulnerable. One of the biggest changes after 45 is reduced insulin sensitivity. Insulin still works, but not as efficiently. The signal becomes weaker. So when glucose is released in the morning to help you wake up, it doesn't enter cells as smoothly as it used to. Blood sugar rises. Energy does not. This explains a frustrating pattern many people notice. They wake up with high fasting glucose but feel exhausted. That feels backwards. But it makes sense when you understand that energy comes from glucose inside the cells, not glucose circulating in the blood. 2. Another major shift after 45 involves hormones. Hormones that regulate sleep, stress, and glucose become less precise with age. Cortisol timing can drift. Melatonin patterns change. The balance between glucose release and glucose use becomes less coordinated. These changes don't feel dramatic on their own, but together, they change how mornings feel. This is why people often say, I didn't have this problem before. I eat the same way. I don't understand what changed.
What changed was not your discipline. What changed was how your body handles mornings. Morning blood sugar worsening after 45 is not a sign of failure, it's a sign of adaptation. The body is responding to new internal conditions, and the morning is where that response becomes visible. One of the reasons morning blood sugar becomes harder to control after 45 is where the body loses sensitivity first. Most people think insulin resistance shows up everywhere at the same time. It doesn't. It often appears first in the morning and first in specific tissues. Muscle tissue is one of the biggest glucose sinks in the body. When muscles are sensitive to insulin, they act like sponges. They absorb glucose easily. But with age, muscle mass gradually declines and muscle cells become less responsive. So when glucose is released in the morning, there is less space for it to go. Blood sugar rises more easily. The liver changes too. As we discussed in the previous video, the liver becomes more aggressive with glucose release as insulin signaling weakens. After 45, hepatic insulin resistance becomes more common, so the liver releases glucose strongly, but doesn't slow down efficiently. That combination pushes fasting glucose higher. Hormone timing also becomes less precise. Cortisol is supposed to rise gradually before waking. That smooth rise helps you transition into the day. But with age, stress, and lighter sleep, cortisol can spike faster and higher. That spike tells the liver, release more glucose now, so morning blood sugar climbs even more. This is why mornings often feel like the hardest part of the day. Later, after movement and meals, glucose handling improves. Muscles absorb more glucose. Insulin sensitivity temporarily increases. Blood sugar becomes easier to manage. But in the morning, before all of that, the system is exposed. Another factor people don't expect is sleep fragmentation. After 45, sleep often becomes lighter. Micro-awakenings increase. Even if you don't remember waking up, your body does. Each small awakening raises stress hormones slightly. And over the night, those small signals add up. By morning, cortisol is already elevated. The liver is already active. Blood sugar is already higher. This explains why people can sleep enough hours and still wake up tired.
3. The issue isn't duration, quality, and hormonal signaling. And that shows up as high morning blood sugar with low energy. All of these changes interact. Less muscle glucose uptake, more aggressive liver glucose release, weaker insulin signaling, less precise hormone timing, lighter sleep. None of them are dramatic alone, but together, they shift the entire morning experience. This is why people feel like their body changed overnight. In reality, the change was gradual. The morning is just where it becomes obvious first. And here's something important to understand. This process is not random, and it's not punishment. It's physiology, adapting to age-related changes. And once you understand that, mornings stop feeling mysterious. What makes morning blood sugar changes after 45 so frustrating is how personal they feel. People assume something must be wrong with them. They think, I should be able to control this. I didn't have this problem before. I must be failing. But morning blood sugar getting worse after 45 is not a moral issue. It's not about discipline. It's about how the body's systems evolve with age. The morning becomes the stress test. Before food, before movement, before coping strategies. That's why the morning shows problems earlier than labs, averages, or daytime numbers. It reveals how well the system handled energy overnight. When you understand this, the narrative changes. You stop fighting your body. You stop blaming yourself. You stop chasing solutions that don't match the problem. You start focusing on what actually matters. Morning blood sugar is not about perfection. It's about coordination. Coordination between hormones, coordination between the liver and muscles, coordination between insulin and glucose, coordination between the nervous system and metabolism. When coordination weakens with age, mornings feel harder. That's not bad luck. That's physiology. This is why people often notice something encouraging. When they support morning coordination, everything improves. Energy stabilizes. Fog clears. Cravings soften. Blood sugar becomes easier to manage. Not because they tried harder, but because they worked with their biology instead of against it. Understanding why morning blood sugar gets worse after 45 is empowering. It removes shame. It removes confusion. And it replaces frustration with clarity. This video helped you understand why morning blood sugar often gets worse after 45. Subscribe to the channel. Every video here is focused on morning blood sugar, fasting glucose, why people wake up tired, and why high blood sugar before breakfast is so common, especially after age 45. It's not bad luck, it's physiology. And understanding physiology changes everything.